We continue our complete documentation of the collapse of the Democrat Party. Good news. And also the success of Republicans. Republicans were barely successful. There's a lot of heat on Doge, which is just the normal old machine of Democrat media trying to throw a tantrum funded by George Soros, and it's not working. So that's the good news. But let me get through The View. I got to show you The View. Then we're going to do J.D. Vance on the baptism of his son. We're going to show you some Karine Jean-Pierre. We're going to show you the gaslighting of the Biden campaign. All good stuff right here on the Doug TenNapel channel. You guys subscribing, leaving a comment is how you say thank you. Of course, watching, I don't thank you guys enough for tolerating me as I bring you the news. Let's watch. Look, it's The View.
Now, the Washington Post owner and multi-billionaire Jeff Bezos said he's retooling the opinion section of the paper to reflect opinions he agrees with. Isn't that censorship?
No, it's not. Okay, so she's throwing heat on Jeff Bezos, who purchased the New York Post, and it's terrible, or Washington Post, I'm sorry. And he's losing $300 million so far. But basically, he's paying all of these journalists and just losing money. He's throwing money down a hole. It's not profitable for him. So he goes into his editorial crew and says, guys, you're too left-leaning. You only do negative stories on Trump. It's time for us to be more balanced to represent a broader readership. He should just dump this whole thing, because boy, did this purchase really screw over Jeff Bezos and the Amazon company.
One Post editor already resigned over this. His name is David Shipley. So, and I don't know that helps. If you resign, you have no power at all.
Did he say it was only things he agreed with?
Well, he basically, yeah.
He actually said the opinion section would embrace personal liberties and free markets, and basically those opinions that disagreed with personal liberties and free markets, whatever he means by that, they can find elsewhere to write about.
So wait a minute.
What do you mean by whatever he means by personal liberty and free markets? That's what Joy Behar is going. Jeff Bezos, if you disagree with him on that, then you're out. If you're against free markets and personal liberty, that sounds like really good things to try and run a newspaper on. Personal liberty, free markets, that's radical now. It's being manipulative if you make people emphasize those kinds of articles in a business that has no profitability.
So if you're against, you're only pro-free markets, that would justify them firing all these federal workers?
I think that's
or you
what
could
it
not
means.
Write about that in the paper, that this is an outrageous thing to do?
It seems that way. I'm not sure. I think we'll get further clarification. But what I will say is, I mean, he came up with that buzz line, democracy dies in darkness.
He took it away.
So he has taken that away. I'm sort of surprised by it.
Okay, I'd like to thank Nicholas Fondacaro of Newsbusters for posting that. We have 2 more The Views to get through. Let's go.
He took it away.
So he has taken that away. I'm sort of surprised by it. I wonder what the ramifications will be, right? Because will people now cancel their subscriptions to the...
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. He's going to lose $300 million. He's already losing $300 million, guys. Things can't get much worse. Oh, no. He's going to lose some subscriptions. You mean even more?
Washington Post.
They already do it in hordes
in hordes. And so there may be repercussions. I mean, I know today, on Friday, there's been calls for a blackout economically, this economic blackout.
The Democrats are going to try to not spend any money in anger over Trump and Doge's cutting of budgets. That today is supposed to be the day that Democrats don't spend any money in the market. That's their claim. They're going to try and do a walkout of spending money. See how that works. How are they ever going to stop spending money on their weird, disruptive, bizarre, deviant behavior that they're addicted to?
And, I tend to speak with my dollars. I do. Because if this is a world that's all about business and free markets, then I have the freedom to choose not to do something.
Yes, you do. You have the freedom because, everyone can turn off The View, or they can turn on The View and watch it, or they can watch it here on my show. But she had a producer, Teta, or whatever his name is, who said, hey, go easy on just slamming Trump. So is that democracy dying in darkness? Is that censorship, that you have a producer saying, let's try and provide some entertainment for the other half of America instead of just smashing Trump?
To choose not to spend my dollars.
Oh, yeah. Yes, applaud, Lucille.
But I wonder if it will.
Okay, and this is the last clip we have documenting the losers of Democrats at The View.
We'll see.
Well, what surprised me actually is the Washington Post has a very representative editorial board and opinion section. They have Republican voices. George Will is one of their longest running columnists.
George Will, who's anti-Trump.
Who I'm a huge fan of. Mark Thiessen is also a right of center columnist.
Eugene Robinson.
So yes, but so they're not. It's not like they were only platforming liberal voices, but it's had the unintended side effect of making some of their best journalists leave. And journalism, not opinion, has been the lifeblood of the Washington Post since the Woodward days. Since Phil Rucker, Ashley Parker, Josh Dawsey, their star reporters from the first Trump administration have all fled to different outlets. I would think largely in part because of these changes that are coming. It just goes against like the ethos of the journalism should be objective, but opinion should kind of be all inclusive.
Yeah, well, the opinion is not far right enough. It's not pro-MAGA enough. And the readers smell it, and they're going down, and Jeff Bezos is watching his whole empire just not work. And we want it to work, I would think. Okay, here's J.D. Vance on his son's baptism. This is a cleanser for
my
you.
7-year-old elected to become baptized, and it was the proudest moment maybe that I've ever had as a father. And he took it very seriously, and he wanted to know, what are the right things to say, Dad? What do I need to do? What does this mean? Why is this important? And it was an amazing thing for me to see my 7-year-old working through these things himself. And when I talk about the deep things, the important things, that's what I'm talking about. Of course we care about our economic indicators, and of course we care about the wages of our citizens. We care about those things because when our people are doing better, they can have the kinds of moments that promote the kind of flourishing that all of us believe is the very core of a good human life. And that, of course, in my case, was watching my little 7-year-old son become baptized. And so, while again, I will never be perfect, I will always try to remind myself that the goal of our public policy is to promote the common good, and I will fight for that every single day that I am a public official.
So that's downstream. In case you guys think that, I've done a few stories recently. I hit back on someone yesterday that was talking about Christless conservatism. They're going like, hey, we're not trying to establish a national religion. You're getting it wrong. The foundation of everything is Jesus Christ and what he did on the cross. And J.D. Vance here is he has to kind of water it down a little bit because he's a public statesman, and I think he's being way too conciliatory in saying that baptizing your son is downstream from government. It's like, no, the government, it provides you some freedoms, but even if they tried to take that freedom away, baptisms still happen. Christ still happens. Christ is upstream from government. Government does not allow Christ to do what he needs to do in our culture. I wanted to show that it was great that he is publicly talking about his son being baptized. That's good for our culture. It's good for everyone. And if you have not been baptized, then obey God, repent, and be baptized. Here's The Hill. This is great news on Biden. Ex-Biden staffer campaign was gaslighting public with denial of age and his ability concerns. Now, this is coming from a Democrat staffer about Biden, and we have another great video on Karine Jean-Pierre basically saying the same thing. A former staffer for Biden White House argued that the then President Biden's campaign was gaslighting the public by denying concerns about his cognitive fitness for office. Michael LaRosa, who served as press secretary for former First Lady Jill Biden from 2021 to 2022, told Puck News senior political correspondent Tara Palmieri on Wednesday that the portrayal in Original Sin, that's the book by CNN anchor Jake Tapper, which we've already shredded, and Axios reporter Alex Thompson, of how the campaign addressed concerns about Biden's age is at least somewhat accurate. And here, I don't give Jake Tapper a pass just because he wrote a book on it, because he was part of that public lie using media, and now they're trying to blame the Biden administration for lying. When I'm saying Biden's cognitive decline was public to all of us, anyone with normal common sense could see it. So don't blame the Bidens for lying. You repeated the lie, and you should know better. There are some things that are true. I mean, like the gaslighting. There was a lot of denial of the polling, LaRosa said in an event for the Shine Institute of Policy and Politics at American University in comments highlighted by Mediaite. Quote, and I will use the term gaslighting because that's what they were doing. The campaign, former colleagues said. La Rosa said the campaign's message was to tell people that the polls showing the public's concern about Biden's age and mental acuity, quote, didn't mean anything because the election was still too far away. Quote, well, it became too early, and these polls don't mean anything. For about a year and a half, the numbers were never moved, he said. But by denying the data that was out there publicly, by denying the really insightful journalism, they were actually demeaning a lot of the people. But it was the data denial that really bothered me, because we loved polling when we were running because we were always ahead, he added, referring to the 2020 campaign. Polling, and guys, this is my warning to the Republican Party. This is a Democrat giving us wisdom on what not to do. Is just because your guy's in charge and he's the boss, if polls go south, you need to report uncomfortable facts. And so I'm not here to ever get ahead of Trump and just go MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. I'm going to cover up for anything there is. That's not my job. And now I'm not going to also be able to just say, I want to be as truthful as I can, but I am also a fan of Trump, and I'm admitting that bias to you so you could weigh that into everything I say. It doesn't make me a liar, because I'm here to emphasize the good that Trump does, and I'm trying to dismantle the evil that is set against him by the Democrat Party. But still, you have to know I have a bias. Like, I believe the Western world's going to be not theologically saved, but perhaps physically saved by the Trump administration. Polling throughout the 2024 campaign regularly showed that many voters had concerns about Biden's mental capability because we had two eyes on our head to serve another term. Surveys also showed some concern about President Trump's mental fitness, which was entirely made up by the media and lied to about. They had concern because they were told a lie. But the concerns about Biden were consistently higher. Biden and his campaign remained adamant that he could serve another term and would stay in the race. But a disastrous debate performance against Trump in late June further eroded remaining trust in Biden's abilities. He regularly stumbled over his words throughout the event and at times struggled to form coherent sentences. That is, we dodged a bullet on that one, guys. That was a close call. But media thought they could pull this off, and Biden thought they could pull this off. The Democrat Party thought, yeah, we can drag this guy over the finish line and brainwash everyone, even though he's obviously in cognitive decline. The people will just do what we tell them. We'll lie to them and it'll all be fine. That's how we've always done things in media for the last 20 years. Whatever we told them, they would believe. Oh, Trump's nuts. He needs to be impeached. And they just believed it. They ran with it. And then suddenly, when there's a little hole in the dike, little water pouring through. And man, they did not listen. And the whole dam collapsed and that water rushed and it broke back on media so bad. And I'm so happy it happened. I'm shocked it happened. I thought people liked being lied to more than that. I thought everyone was on board with like, yeah, this is good enough. This is good enough. We don't have to go and attack the system. My electricity's turned on. I'm making money. I've got too many carbs for my body to handle. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Keep us fat. No, the people came back and said, holy cow, at that debate, we've been lied to. Everyone is a liar. Pressure built within the party over the next few weeks for Biden to step aside, which he did in July, to be replaced as a nominee by then Vice President Harris. Did the media learn anything? Did they learn anything when they replaced Biden and they put out Harris? Hey, we'll fix this real quick. We'll use our media to push her on everyone. She's smart. She's sensitive. She's a strong black woman. Tim Walz is great. J.D. Vance is weird, who baptizes his son. He's the weirdo. Walz is normal. This complete freak show that they tried pushing again. They didn't learn their lesson. They still haven't. That process has left some lingering hard feelings with the party, with some close allies of Biden expressing frustration at how those weeks went, with Biden facing widespread calls to end his election bid. The article goes on, if you guys want to go to the Hill and look it up yourself, because I just want to get to this, by Karine Jean-Pierre. Now, this one I showed on my other channel, but I was really fascinated by this one. I know you guys, we don't like Karine Jean-Pierre, but I want to first look at her posture. Look how casual she is and comfortable she is. This is weird because this is a very different Karine Jean-Pierre, in my opinion. I think she's actually telling the truth, being extemporaneous and letting you have it. And so I wanted to show you this side of her that I haven't seen widely covered. And she's going to talk about how there was a massive conspiracy to perform a firing squad, as she puts it, on Joe Biden. Watch this.
Look, personally, I think what was the toughest thing to see in the 3 weeks was there was a disconnect for me, what was happening with leadership in the Democratic Party and how it was truly, as my former colleague, communications director, Ben LeBolt said, it was a firing squad. And I had never seen anything like it before.
So she's loyal to President Biden. And even Karine Jean-Pierre was cut out of the conversation from the Democrat Party to rip him out of office. I have no sympathy for Biden because he is a terrible person and a liar. That is, he lied about his condition. Jill Biden lied about his condition. And Karine Jean-Pierre went out and lied about his condition in a terrible performance. Don't you like her voice here? It's way more comfortable. She's actually telling you the truth for the first time in 4 years. She should have been doing this for 4 years. People would probably like her a lot more. She's just more casual and talking. She should have told people the truth about the Democrat Party all along. In a way, this is a excoriation of them, but she's going, that Democrat Party that I thought was on my side, they distanced themselves from me and my buddy Joe Biden and Jill Biden and the Biden crime family, and they started coming at us they were a firing squad, and I'd never seen anything like that. Note to Democrats, they'll stab you in the back. This is anyone who carries any of the Democrat water. If you're still carrying the LGBTQ thing and go, oh yeah, a man and a man are the same as a man and a woman, they will destroy you. When you turn against them the tiniest bit, the Marxists will destroy you. You're going DEI. Oh yeah, I think we should give that unqualified person an opportunity because they're a woman, or because they have melanin in their skin, or because they're in a wheelchair. As soon as you turn against that the tiniest bit, they will put you in a firing squad, hypothetically.
I'd never seen a party do that in the way that they did. And it was hurtful and sad to see that happening.
Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. I think you're a smart black woman who should know better. You should have been wiser to know that's what they would do. I actually expect you to be wise and a little more intelligent. So don't give me this. I'm shocked that there's gambling going on at this casino. I'm shocked that politicians backstabbed you.
Firing squad around a person who I believe was a true patriot, a person who I believe did everything that he can for this country, a person.
Well, you and I are going to disagree on that, but I'll give you your opinion for 5 minutes.
Person who I believe, as I mentioned before, has done more in one term than most presidents had done in 2 terms.
Yeah, he almost destroyed the whole country in 1 term. If we had 2 terms, holy moly. We were spared a bullet. Thank goodness he was discredited and they ran Kamala Harris, the worst candidate in history, so that we got Trump.
Things, and I was shocked by what I was seeing.
And Karine, just to clarify, these are other Democrats and Democratic leadership coming out against Biden.
Yep, I had never seen anything like that. That was, if you're asking me, the thing that I saw in those 3 weeks, that was shocking. Shocking. And instead of coming together to really be unified and trying to figure out how do we save our democracy, how do we fight back, that's what I was seeing.
They have a 2-party also. They have Democrats and they have dinos, Democrats in name only, which I would say the problem is Karine Jean-Pierre and Joe Biden were Democrats in name only. And then they're the dinos. They're the old calcified system. And man, the radicals came in. That would be all the radicals came in and said, you go bye-bye. That's Nancy Pelosi. And there's she has still not talked to Jill Biden. Jill Biden's still angry at the Democrat Party. We're going to get an article in a minute on the whole administration Trump has said he knows that Joe Biden is furious with the Democrats over what happened to him.
And, that's what we decided to do for 3 weeks. And, you know, it was truly, truly unfortunate. And I think it hurt us more than I think folks realized.
It hurt you more. Notice she's not sitting there talking about how evil Trump is. This is all about how evil the Democrats are. That's from Karine Jean-Pierre, Democrat. She's not going, it was all Trump's fault. Trump didn't do any of this. He didn't replace Biden. He didn't lie to the American people. He didn't lie to the Democrat Party about Biden. CNN lied, MSNBC lied, Jake Tapper lied, all of media lied about it. Trump didn't do that. Trump told the truth. And she's not sitting here blaming Trump for what actually happened to the Democrat Party. She might still be saying that Biden could have won. And I don't see how she looks at Biden and says, yeah, he's ready to be the candidate for the president for another 4 years. There's something wrong with you and your values and your moral and your compass. This is about a poll that came out where the Democrats as a party are down to 36% approval. It's like their lowest ever. It's a complete free fall. They're just done. Happily so. Here's more. The Young Turks, this is a Democrat operative on how bad it is.
A governing majority in the House or the Senate where we're actually being able to address the legitimate anger of working class Americans of all races? Or are we going to try to do something meaningful with the power we will be handed? And that, to me, is the failure of leadership in the Democratic Party. We are just being tactical. We're hoping that they self-destruct.
They're just counting on the Republican Party to self-destruct. And it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. Not yet. I'm keeping my powder dry and trying to remain hopeful. But the Democrat Party's in free fall. And that's the best news. They've been caught. I don't know how you gain back public trust. But if they're betting on we're going to destroy Trump and we're going to make Trump look bad, people have a longer memory than that of we're coming out of worse than Carter. Victor Davis Hanson yesterday said, Joe Biden makes Carter look like Winston Churchill by comparison, like just a great leader. That's how bad. I want to keep fomenting that bad taste in people's mouth. I want the Democrat sourness and bitterness and awfulness to remain in culture for as long as I can help stretch it. I'm going to do that on this channel about how bad the Democrat Party is and how good Trump is doing, how badly we needed that reform, and how he has 4 years, 2 to 4 years to go in and gut that corrupt deep state. And frankly, Trump's in over his head. It's worse than he thought. Pam Bondi, Elon Musk, and Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth, they're all in over their heads. They're looking at the corruption in our government and going, holy cow, it's worse than any of us thought. We don't even know if we can fix it. We're going to do our best, and here we go. And that's what we're rooting for. Thank you guys for watching. More videos to come. Hope you'll subscribe so you'll get more. I'm Doug in Exile.